Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Wow, the Leafs must be bad.
Yep.
They got a lead and kept it with their best defenseman sitting on the sidelines.
No, this is worse.
Why is this worse?
This is worse because I said so. Yep.
What do you mean?
Well, they got outshot.
Oh. Well, how could you... it's funny because one team that's the virtual lock for the playoffs, you can't... It's not done till it's done, but virtual lock.
No.
And then another team that's fighting for it, you would expect the team that's fighting for it to get the more shots.
Yeah. On the complete flip side, the Islanders just needed it more. Oh, the Panthers needed it more. But the Leafs found a way to overcome, and I think March narratives are the worst in hockey.
Really?
They're easily the worst.
Well, the
in
Leafs
hockey.
didn't overcome anything. The Leafs were the better team. They walked in the better team. They left the better team, and they won the game.
Whoa!
I don't even think Florida Panthers players would disagree with that.
No, and I don't know. Well, I do know they made significant changes this offseason, but they really went from this high octane offensive team that could also beat you up to just kind of a team that beats you up and happens to score. Like they laid the body, they were tough, and everything, and they're not going to be a fun matchup if they do end up making it. But there's something missing from the stew that was there last year. I think it might be Jonathan Huberdeau, although now he's on a team that can't score to save their lives.
Right? Yeah, and if you believe the rumors, that's not entirely his fault. I don't know if you heard what... I can get into it later. Did you hear what Nazem Kadri had to say?
I loosely saw it. Yesterday was a busy day.
Yeah.
I love this show, man. Like, people don't appreciate how good Adam is at prep.
That's a lie.
They don't appreciate that because there are some...
I appreciate that.
Someone called me on the way to the show today, and they're like, what are you talking about today? I'm like, I don't know. Adam surprises me, and we always just come up with
you guys
the show.
always know your shit. That's why I can do that. Most shows can't do that because people need to do their thing, but you guys already know your shit, so I can just throw anything at you and you just do it.
We've worked in radio for quite a bit of time, Adam, and I think you would agree that in some other instances, there's a lot of hand-holding that needs to be done by hosts to other hosts who aren't as on the ball.
Yes. Yeah, and I think there's
It's like me carrying Scott MacArthur.
Especially when you guys are talking about baseball.
Yeah. I have to hold his hand through these baseball conversations.
It's too bad Scott MacArthur knows nothing about baseball.
Yeah. It's Scott. It's 3 strikes, you idiot. This guy's talking about strike 4.
Oh man!
Can I talk about how good the Leafs are?
Yeah.
You guys are all doom and gloom.
No, I'm not.
I'm not doom and gloom.
Oh, sky's falling.
No. When were we? I was not doom and gloom.
And I quote Steve Dangle: "Leafs suck."
He said it.
He said it.
He said it
I don't
off
think
the
you
air.
said that.
He said it off the air.
Leafs suck, and also go Habs.
Yeah, you've never worn a Habs jersey.
Yeah.
Go Habs.
So I do want to, Jesse, I think you're absolutely right. So I think the first thing we need to talk about is the fact that coming off a 7-2 loss to the Islanders, it's not because they lost 7-2. It's because it was to the Islanders, and it stings a little bit more because of John Tavares. And
I think it was both.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. So they come out, and Austin Matthews said, I think this is just good for us as a whole. You kind of gain the confidence back and close out a game like we did tonight. They got the lead. They kept it. That's always been the thing, right? And the NHL is becoming more and more like that, where leads are just really hard to keep.
Yeah, for everyone. The good teams, the bad teams.
Right.
The good goalies, the bad goalies.
The good teams, though, when the Leafs were becoming good, were good at holding leads, and the Leafs never were. And that's what sort of separated them.
Yes.
Now they can. And I think seeing last night the way that they... there is... Towards this part of the year, there is like a great tier, there's a good tier, and then there's the absolute shits, your Bedard tier. And the Florida Panthers are the mid-tier team. They could miss, they could make, and there is a big difference between the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? And it's now very noticeable.
Yeah, and you also, Bobrovsky wasn't very good last night, but he's also dealing with difficult circumstances, Spencer Knight out, and They played Alex Lyon the other day. Thought about picking him up in fantasy, and I was glad I didn't because he got completely shelled. So if they were getting probably better starts out of Bob because he wasn't playing as much and also getting some quality Spencer Knight starts, maybe it's a different conversation. But right now, they're on the outside looking in.
The one thing I want to say is I feel bad for Matt Murray for not getting that save.
Man,
that would have been the save. He said after the game, he's like, that would have been the save of my career.
There needs to be some that was a cool moment leeway. Like, it's the same thing with the freaking Patrick Kane OT winner that was like 4/10 of a second after the buzzer. You guys remember that when it was almost his last game?
Way less than that.
Less than 4/10.
Oh,
2/10 then. Oh my God.
No.
How dare I go to 4/10?
Less than 1/10.
It's like here to here. Here to here.
Here to here. I was so off by saying 4/10.
It was like this. It was like.
He's like, anyways.
There needed to be for that OT winner that was so cool tax.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we're gonna just we know that was against the rules. You know, you can't score after the buzzer, but that was so cool, we're gonna allow it. With the Matt Murray goal, that was so cool tax. That was an awesome save.
Well, I've always wondered, there's a hat picks and a dang it's, right? But there's not a whole lot of room coming up the middle. Yes, I do.
It's a dang it if it's not a hat pick.
That's right. That's what I'm saying is there's no centrist party here. And I would say that we could have an oopsie dang it. Or an oopsie dangles or something like that. Dang it. Like one that's like, nah, it's not quite a dang. It's not quite a hat pick either, but it's definitely noteworthy.
I think that's a dang it.
I think that's what dang it's are.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think dang it's is just like when it all falls apart. You know, dang it's is like, shit. But you say dang it, your kid's around.
You got this really cool thing taken back. Aha, dang it.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of attitude.
Yeah, you got to look at it from the Panthers' perspective, which is, loser.
Loser.
That's the way we played the Kane OT winner, and also Tyler Seguin, who did it like 3 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
We made him dang it's.
There
was dang it's yesterday.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, was there? Was there? This fucker.
When's the next ice surfing coming out?
Never, because my friends didn't support it.
I'm giving Steve shit because I know he's tired. So here's what we have. We have a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday weeks are Steve's worst weeks because he's got to do the show late, like the LFR late, and then he's got to come in early and do the SDP.
Yeah, it's just a little tough by the end.
It's hard.
But here I am.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the whole time Leo's there being like, Daddy, play with me.
He really is. And then sometimes I'll just be like, let me lie here. And then it takes me about 5 seconds to be like, I'm the worst father. And so then I get up and we play. And he's in a big, ever just grab the skin on your face?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I curtailed that pretty quick.
Oh gosh.
Parents
with an iron fist.
No, I do because that shit's not acceptable, and they need to know that. And that is our parent. That is the job as a parent. Everly used to do it, but she'd do it nail first. And I remember my poor stepmom was like, I didn't know what to do. She had her for a couple days. She's like, I didn't know what to do, and like, and she was like almost in tears. And I'm like, okay, let me solve this one. So Everly, she's about 1.5 years when she was doing it. So I'd walk around and she'd take a swing, and I'd catch her hand.
No, it's not even a swing.
Oh no,
it's just a grab of skin.
Well, this
is telling me lose weight.
Oh no,
look at your waddle gobble.
She did smack my tummy a couple weeks ago coming out of the bathtub and said, "Daddy has a big tummy. Daddy has a big tummy." I was like, "Thank you. All of my insecurities are being brought to the surface." But no, what you do is when they do that, you yell "ow" really loud, and they go like this, and then they cry
like a dog.
Yeah, you go "ow," and they go. And then you go, you explain to them that hurt, and then they cry, and then they want to give you a hug, and you give them the hug and whatever, and then they stop because it's like, oh,
they don't want to hurt people.
I hadn't considered that might hurt somebody.
So it's like training a puppy where you go, oh,
yeah, 100%. You just say,
that's why Iggy's so gentle.
Oh yeah, he's such a gentle
except for
dog.
that time he broke my nose.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't really his fault. That was you being down in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That was entirely my fault. I got dentist extras yesterday. I was like, can I look at my nose?
Would you make her go to school?
No.
And work?
No, I'd make her work Game Over.
You'd make
Game
her
Over Montreal.
Stream live on the internet?
Get on.
Okay.
Talk about Arbor Jacki now. No, I think one thing I actually did want to tell you guys. I thought this was funny. I'm like, I'm freaking getting old here. So Everly, we're moving. We're like kind of getting packed up. I know the
again.
House. I know.
I'm shocked. Adam's never moved.
So anyway,
but that's here.
Hey, listen. So anyway. She's sitting at the table. She's watching Bluey on Disney Plus, and I don't know if you've seen Bluey, yes. But it's Australian dogs, and they're very funny. And she looks at Natalie and I, and she's like, "Guys, I don't know how to floss, and I need to learn." Like it's very contemplative, and we're like, "Okay." So Natalie's like, "Well," and Natalie and I start Googling. We're like, "Well, you probably need to go to the dentist soon. 4 years old is when you're supposed to take him for the first time, whatever." And then she gets up and she starts dancing. And I realized that she didn't mean flossing at the dentist. She meant the floss, like the backpack kid floss dance. Because some kid at in the new level of daycare she's in, which is kindergarten prep,
they can
taught
dance?
her to floss.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, I don't know how to do it properly though. And I was like, I'm old as hell. I went to flossing at the dentist. Why would a kid want to do that?
Back to the important issue.
What is it?
This podcast has been on the air for 10 years.
In May, it'll be 10 years.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's 4/10 people.
No.
All right. So,
hey, we don't deserve to 10-ometer this yet, okay? Yeah. We're not at 10 years. So,
in those 10 years, how many different places have you lived?
Well, that's a good
You don't
question.
even know the answer. That's insane.
Okay, so
I haven't even been to all of them.
We got to count. Count. So the first one, we started in the Rogers backup studio, but then once we got Panago as a sponsor, we couldn't stay there.
No. So you have lived.
I know. So then we recorded this show in my mom's basement where I lived.
Okay.
Because I had a condo and I was renovating the condo.
Yes.
And then we moved it to the condo, which is the first one. That's where Freege came, and we met Myrtle there, and Justin Bourne, Jeff Merrick. They all showed up. It was great.
That's right. Richard Petty was there.
Weird.
Yeah.
Not the race car driver. And then moved to Charles Street, which was right across from Rogers. You guys remember that, right?
And you would be late to the podcast sometimes.
Yeah, and I was across the street.
Because he'd be like, "Oh, the elevator's broken."
So I got 3.
Elevators took a long time, guys.
So it'd be like a Bugs Bunny sketch.
And then there was my house that was my red house that remember that?
Yeah.
Remember on Seaton? Remember that one?
It was red?
It was red. It was like an orangey red.
The brick.
Yeah. And then then post divorce, it was the apartment on Queen, which was above a store.
I never
then this
went
house.
there.
And then you got one more. So 8.
Yeah.
Because you're going to hit 8 before 10 years.
Yeah. I moved every basically.
Did I miss one?
No. No, today's is 8. Right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you missed one, and then I'm adding one.
Oh,
essentially,
it's 8.
Essentially, it's basically every 14 months. That's 8 and 10 years, man. It's a lot, and it's funny because a couple of those places I was there for. I was at the first condo there when we recorded there without video. It was just mics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was there for 4 years.
That's evil.
It's crazy.
Stop that.
So then there was a couple where it was like every 8 months.
Yeah. And it's funny, before that, because of radio and stuff, because, in radio, you get paid nothing. And I remember it'd be like, I get like a $500 raise or something like that at the end of the year.
Whoa.
And I'd be like, well, I'm going to move from this cockroach infested apartment to this cockroach infested apartment. And it would be like, so every 8 months you're flipping apartments and stuff too, right?
You've lived in over a dozen different places.
And in that time, Steve was almost, it was almost 1.
It was almost one.
But
it was, had you moved into your house when we started this podcast? Like the one in Oshawa? I remember you bought it, but then I remember you were like, I hope the KHL pays me because I can't make my down payment without it.
We started October, no we didn't.
May.
We started May 2013. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't able to put an offer on a house until I think it was December 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I didn't have any fucking money.
Do you know what I remember from that? We can do a throwback show at some point, but one of my favorite conversations from that first show was you learning how to do laundry when you moved in with SL because you'd never done it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I heard that story.
It's a great story.
It was
funny.
Well, I just... It wasn't that it was difficult.
It was just Tina was there.
It's just my mom.
She was probably like, screw it. It's so much easier if I just do it.
She was very Italian, and she would do chores, and then I would do the chores, and she'd be like, "That's not good enough," and she would redo the chore, and so I'm like, "So what am I doing this for?" So
you just go in your room and you make your little videos, sweetie.
Yeah, basically. And so then it got to a point where I had to start doing stuff. And I visited the house. I don't remember why. Like I left something there or whatever. And I was just, I was about to leave, and then my mom came home. I was the only one in the house, and she came home, and I just like burst into tears.
Aww.
I was like, I'm so sorry that I didn't do more. And it was like, it was every birthday and Christmas present for the rest of her life. She was just like, it's okay.
My soul.
It's my son, soul. You're right. You do understand now. Congrats. It's like she got 100% completion on Mom.
Yeah. No,
the video game.
Mom Red Dead.
Mom, I was trying to think of a good name, and I came up with Mom. Video game. 100% completion on Mom.
The Sims. The Sims would be the perfect example, yes. I think. I can remember I've lived on my own long enough that I used to pay bills via check. I used to mail the check back to the phone company for my cell phone bill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the reason I did that was because I didn't want them to put it on automatic deposit because or direct deposit, because if they did, they might overcharge me and then I wouldn't eat. Mm-hmm. And that's how close it was, right? It was real close to the line most of the time. So I wanted to make sure that they were only getting the money when I knew I had it.
My OG YouTuber flex is I have been doing YouTube videos long enough to have been paid by check.
Oh, wow.
By YouTube.
Yeah,
because I used to send those out.
Do you have any of those still?
Well, no, I brought them to the bank.
Yeah, so, you had to cash those things, right?
I had to, because there was so they wouldn't pay you until you hit at least $100 because they didn't want to send out like all these like $3 checks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even get paid every month. It would be like every 3 or 4 months.
You get $100.
I'd hit the $100 threshold.
It's like a GST check from the government. Got my GST refund. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna drink this entire thing.
My God.
And yeah.
Listen, I don't know what else there is to take from the
Leafs won.
Florida game. Leafs won. We're happy, right?
Can I do the stats I was telling you guys about before?
Oh yeah.
When Steve likes the sky is falling narrative of the Leafs.
I love this.
Don't
forget, Steve is the one who's most afraid.
Yeah. I swear that is the opposite of what we said last show.
It is the opposite of what we said last show.
There's been no point this season where the Leafs have gone for a 3-game stretch where they did not get a point.
That's wild.
They have only gone 0-2 twice.
Man.
There was one time in January where they lost to Detroit and Boston back-to-back. And then there was one point in December where they lost to the Rangers and the Capitals 2 times in a row. Those are the only times in the entirety of the season they have gone 0-2.
I would like to raise a question.
Damn.
They have a really good year.
Jesse, are you sure?
What?
Are you sure?
About what?
What you just said.
Yes.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Because I was led to believe that the Leafs got worse after the trade deadline. I would have expected those back-to-back losses to occur then.
Both of those catastrophic stretches happened before the trade deadline.
Man. Catastrophic. I thought they got worse, though. I was told they got worse.
They did.
They did. You just haven't seen it yet.
Have you considered vibes?
I think the vibes are good. They seem to be feeling themselves.
Yeah. I mean, Matthews getting better. I liked him and Willie exchanging goals. That was cool. Tavares hit 70 points. Willie hit 80. Mm-hmm. Murray is looking pretty good these days.
Listen, that Edmonton start a couple weeks ago, I still haven't forgotten it. You got to show up for that game, Matt. But ever since, he's been amazing.
Listen,
so I'll take it.
If the Leafs are going to go any sort of distance in these playoffs, I'm just making peace with the fact I think both guys are going to play.
What? I'm with you. I think so.
Yeah. One guy is going to start for sure.
And it's going to be Sergei Samsonov.
No. I think it's going to be Ilya Samsonov.
Should be Sergei. What's Sergei doing? He's probably 50 now.
He became a shot blocker in Edmonton.
There you go.
Why not?
Weird.
I think your prediction?
Well, think about it. So Murray's won 2 cups. It happened both times. Him and Fleury split those cups.
Not the second one, I believe. Once Murray was up and running, because did we not mention it? No, hold on. Marc-Andre Fleury, or was it due to injury?
I think it was due to injury, but
see, that's the caveat then. I know there was a caveat.
Yeah, but with Matt Murray, that is the caveat. Like, there are the games where he's bad, he looks unusable, and the games where he's dialed, he looks like as good as any starter in the league. And I think it could be a body maintenance thing. I don't know. He's battled a lot over his career, and I think the dude is sore. And when he's not sore, he kicks ass. Same with Samsonov. Samsonov's been battling something on and off all season.
Marc-Andre Fleury played 2 games in the 2016 Cup.
Like I said.
Because we brought it up on Agent Provocateur when he was on, and I remember his response was like, well, one of the times was a little different.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really want to expand on, hey, that cup run was amazing. He was like, no, I was sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's
I wonder how goalies look at that.
I think that's okay. I it's funny. Every time I check our comments on our videos, the compliment section, there's always somebody who's like, what is Matt Murray's buyout? And I
buyout?
Yeah, like, what's it gonna cost them this off? That's a very Leafs fan thing to say.
You know what, Jesse, look it up.
And I want to say to you, like, I know Leafs fans are insular. We are. Like, Leafs fans are all about Leaf fan news. But I got to say, Matt Murray as a $4 million backup, I don't know how you do much better. And yeah, he had a couple stinkers this year, but I mean, are we all forgetting that he's like top 10, top 15 save percentage? Yeah. Guy's really good.
No, not
anymore.
So much anymore.
He was.
Well, he was. So it's funny. I was talking about a bet that, like, I'm for sure going to hit on. And
which is?
It was Matt Murray's save percentage over under. Do you know what the over under was set at?
No.
I wish.
What was it?
We talked about it, and you can bet that.
Oh, you know? I got it. You think I can remember anything?
Dude, this is one of the ones where I wish I wasn't $2 Steve, and I was perhaps $20, $50 Steve.
Right.
The over under was set at 0.9250. Or sorry, 9205. So 920. So you think he's going to get 921 and up or under 920? I took the under because he could legitimately challenge for the Vezina Trophy and still not hit that number.
Of course.
That was the easiest bet of your life.
Easiest bet of my life, and I'm going to win like 340, I think.
I like it. That was good.
The buyout calculator for Matt Murray is actually very reasonable. So his cap hit would have been 6.25 next year. The buyout cost is about $2.6 million on the Leafs, and the cap hit for next year would have gone all the way down to $687,000, and then the year after that is $2 million.
Oh, and Ottawa incurs a cap hit as well. Oh, weird.
Because they retain salary.
That might be worth it, just for the lulz. That's kind of funny. No, I don't. I mean, the Leafs have... I need someone who understands LTIR, because I don't. I would love to know how much the Leafs have been able to spend over the cap because of Murray. He's been on LTIR twice.
Yeah, it's a good question. We'll have to message our friends at Puckpedia and Cap Friendly and find out.
I think he kind of is what he is.
Matt Murray's
fine.
Yeah, he's a 906, 14-7. Of goalies that have played 20 games or more, he is 28th.
It's a good record, too.
Yeah, not bad. And Samsonov is higher than that. I'm trying to find him. He's 12th.
With the 2 goalies thing, I was kind of taken aback because if things are going well with the Leafs in the playoffs, let's say they win a round or 2 and they're going on a deep run, I envision it as they have a goalie who looks good in that instance, and you ride that hand. You know, you ride Samsonov because he is the goalie that's been winning, that beat the Lightning, that beat whoever they faced in the second round. So I see if they get both goalies in there, then there's like 2 games back to back where Ilya shits the bed and it's like, oh no, we need to try out Matt Murray now. And I feel like that's not the scenario we should be hoping for.
No, I'm not hoping for it, but I just see it being necessary. Like
sometimes you're hoping for a long thing. It's a mental break too, right?
It's a mental break. It's a body break. But that's only Canadians are going to get that. But it's also, I don't think there's much between the two players. So if one is at 75% due to injury and the other's feeling pretty good around 90, you go with the guy who's feeling really good that day.
But then you would be saying, okay, if Samsonov has a great game, we still might play Matt Murray?
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right. So you're saying like you think one of them's going to get hurt?
I'm not saying alternate.
One of them's going to be a little banged up during the playoffs?
I'm sure that's probably more likely the case.
It's pretty likely, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
not. So right now we're looking at the goalie situation where we're kind of predicting that the goalies were going to have some sort of injuries.
Steve always makes an argument that, like, okay, so I think this was back when Tampa was like winning its first cup.
It was Tyler Johnson? Tyler Johnson in the 2015 final where they lost.
Right. And so Tyler Johnson had a broken wrist,
wrist.
And so what Steve was saying is you're getting maybe 50-40% of Tyler Johnson. And you're telling me that the next guy who's waiting on the outside of the lineup couldn't possibly be better than 40% of Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, there's
right. So that's the thing is like if your injury takes you down to 70 or 80%, are we then talking about, well, okay, if we can give him a game off and then put Matt Murray in and he's going to match what Samsonov might be without aggravating an injury, that's where I think it might come into play.
But my argument was Tampa's 13th forward could not possibly be worse than Tyler Johnson with a broken wrist.
Right.
He can't shoot. He couldn't shoot the puck.
Couldn't win. It's hard to win
a situation like Leon Draisaitl, who didn't have an ankle during the playoffs last year. Leon Draisaitl without an ankle is better than every other forward besides Connor McDavid.
That's true.
The Edmonton Oilers,
that's totally true. And that's why you can't replace him.
This is going to sound stupid. Ankle's different than wrist.
Sure.
At least he's able to be a Civil War cannon, where you have to push him sluggishly across the battlefield. But once you get it in position, it's a cannon, right? He can put that thing wherever he wants. Wrist makes you useless. This isn't a great comparable, but from the Leafs perspective, Joe Colburn. Remember Joe Colburn?
I do.
He was one of the league leaders in scoring in the American Hockey League. And then he injured his wrist. And he did not score a goal from February until May. They went all the way to the Calder Cup final, and he didn't score a goal from February till May. You need your wrist. You need to be able to shoot the puck and pass the puck. And if you can't do that, you're, I would say, less useful than a player who has trouble moving around even. Sure. Like a Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
You know?
One Leafs question I have.
Get it.
Based on everything that's happened the last couple of weeks.
Get it, girl.
Does Sheldon Keefe, does he have to look in the mirror one day and say, am I the problem?
Justin Hall is great. Sorry.
What is it? What is it?
Is Sheldon Keefe the problem at some point?
It's me, hi.
In terms of the players he plays together and the juggling of the lines and not settling on something in terms of the top 6. Because once he puts it back in order, it seems to all work out. Are we going to get to the situation in the playoffs where he's still doing stuff like this, where we got Kerfoot up on the first line or whatever, and there's just something we're unhappy with, or he puts Nylander at center in an elimination game or something ridiculous?
I really will never forgive him.
He keeps playing Justin Hall in an instance where Justin Hall shouldn't be on the ice. You know, are we going to get to the point where we got to look at Sheldon Keefe and be like, is he the problem?
Well, can we judge him on egregious lineups per 60?
It's pretty high.
Well, lately it is.
I feel like it's
but is it compare it to Babcock?
Is it worse since the trade
compare
deadline?
It to Babcock. Is it worse as a trade deadline?
Well, no, Babcock had the problem of never changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Ever.
But but he would get set and it was egregious.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Keefe's he's got itchy feet.
He's got flexible egregious, but I don't know that. I think what he's doing right now is he's just going, let's throw some shit at the wall, see who might have some chemistry that we would never have tried out, and then he's going to go to his main lines come playoffs or come 10 games before the playoffs.
We know that the best version of the Leafs is when Matthews and Marner are playing together, and when Bunting's on his game, he's usually with them.
Yes.
Can you just run that out there?
I like the idea, though, of switching Nylander and Marner because I think Matthews and Marner become predictable. I really do. And I think because whenever you see Matthews and Marner score, it's always from the same spots. And I think the reason they're switching it up is Matthews and Marner are so freaking clinical that they're almost predictable. So if you can change a little bit of that mix, I think that's why they're doing it.
I think they're two of the best defensive forwards on the team.
Matthews and Marner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they're together, I think they're so overconfident in their offensive abilities that they slack on the defensive end.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I don't know what the stats are, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it feels like they give up a lot.
Jesse, I'm not trying to take away from your point that objectively the best line is with those guys on it together. But I think the reason they switch it up is and I think Sheldon Keefe is the king of, he's trying to fake out other teams. Like he likes to he line matches at home. Like what the fuck, man? and so I think there's a little bit of that. If I were to say, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but if I were to say I can understand the wisdom behind it, putting Nylander out there with Matthews every once in a while or for several games, they don't play bad. They play pretty good. Marner Tavares looks good with O'Reilly.
Yeah, I don't hate it when during points of the game in the middle of the second, Tavares is with Marner or whatever. It's just whenever push comes to shove, he throws the guys with the best lineup together.
Well, I wonder is it our best line or is it the line that is most likely to score and there's score effects involved? The other team is crawling into a shell. He puts out an offensive line that's not as good defensively, but the other team isn't trying on offense. And I don't know. I think so. Someone asked me about this towards the end of the LFR, and I think what the Leafs are doing comes down to sports science. Actually, the Slurpee lineup, the 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make it a thing. Okay, go with it.
Oh.
It's very
no.
Okay.
7-Eleven should jump.
Well, anyway,
on that,
we'll
though.
figure it out.
No. They sponsor a different network than you're on, so I don't think you can do that.
Oh, are
they a TSN sponsor?
What? I don't know what those letters are.
What we need to do is to come over to the SDPN. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they shun both of those guys.
Yeah. So anyway, it's to get their defensemen to play far less, because even adding in the one extra guy allows them to spread out the minutes so much more. And on offense, every now and then they switch back. They're switching up the lines. They're dividing Austin, Mitch, and Willie up at times to spread their minutes out. I think they're trying to keep everyone fresh. Giving Riley a night off, giving Gio a night off, giving
Gio especially.
Did Brody get one recently?
Yes.
It feels like he's due for one.
And you know what? When Brody's out, you notice.
Yeah.
More than anybody.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
Dependable.
So I think, I don't know if they're going to go 11-7 in the playoffs. That'll be interesting, but I think they're doing it for the next 3 weeks because they're trying to keep everyone fresh.
Okay, well, with that, there's a couple of things that happened in the NHL yesterday that supersede the Toronto Maple Leafs that we will get into next. But first, our friend Dave Bastel.
You can bet that with David Bastel. Brought to you by Sports Interaction. Get in the action and make a play. 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
Okay, so Dave, I like this one a lot. We are all talking about the arms race in the East, how the East teams all loaded up or whatever. What we're not talking about is how the West is completely wild. It's wild this year. And the Colorado Avalanche, who should be like runaway favorites, are not necessarily when you're talking about winning the conference.
No, they're not. They're about a 4-1 proposition at Sports Interaction right now. But you know what? You throw in that conversation, just a little small step. There are a bunch of teams, and I'm looking at the Vegases, Edmonton, Dallas, Los Angeles Kings, even the upstart Minnesota Wild, who've had a fantastic last 40 games of the season, are in that conversation. So I ask you this. if you're not going Colorado, which wouldn't be a bad bet anyway, where are you going? Because there's a lot of options out there in the Wild West.
I mean, for me, I'm going to take Vegas. I like what their goalie's done, and I like the team is just every year they're, except for last year, they're good. And I don't see Edmonton or Dallas catching up, and I think that's what it is, right? I don't know.
I got the Oilers.
You got the Oilers?
Dude, I've been on this. I've been on this for a month. They're a flawed team, but their strengths are so overwhelming that it allows them to overcome. And the only team that stopped them last year was this juggernaut of a team in the Colorado Avalanche. And there just isn't that juggernaut this year.
They're 3 wins.
The West, I don't think.
They're 3 wins out of first overall. Okay. All right. All right, Jesse.
That's interesting.
The world needs to watch out for the Los Angeles Kings because they had one big flaw, and that was goaltending. And they traded away their franchise star in Jonathan Quick, and they fixed their goaltending problem. You know, Jonas Korpisalo has been awesome, and they are on fire.
I was going to say, I wonder how long he can maintain that, though, right? He's never been in that kind of position.
Ooh.
And it's like...
Goalies get hot all the time and stay hot.
LA Kings currently at an almost 9-1. Would you take them now?
That's a great bet. That is a fantastic bet.
What are the Oilers and what are the Kings?
Oilers are 6-1. Kings are 8-7-8 to 1.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 9. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I might take the Kings.
There you go. Producer Drew somewhere is punching air that none of us took the Avalanche.
No, he's happy.
Why is he happy?
Because he thinks that means... So I picked them to win in 2020 and in 2021, and he said, stop doing it. And when I picked someone else to win 2022, he fist pumped.
So Dave, the Winnipeg Jets are a 17.5 to 1.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Hey, you know what? I'd be thankful if they made the postseason. The way you squeak out wins against the Ducks, really? And the Coyotes by 1 goal? Are you kidding me? The Coyotes, the American Hockey League Coyotes?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
All right, we love you, Dave. Have a great weekend. So, I think, a couple days after the James Reimer situation, we come up with this. The Florida Panthers had their Pride Night. By all accounts, did a great job. But also another team featuring the Staal brothers, had a bit of a hiccup. And by a bit of a hiccup, we mean here we fucking go again. I want to start, though, this segment with Matthew Tkachuk because he is undoubtedly the leader of the Florida Panthers. In my mind, him and Barkov and Ekblad probably. And I got to say, he's one of the most outspoken guys in the NHL, and I love hearing this.
A night like tonight, for me, really is just all about including everybody, and in my opinion, it's by far the greatest game in the world, and everybody's welcome in my locker room, and in our locker room as an organization, I think our organization's done an unbelievable job of showing that and embracing that, and starting from Vinny all the way down to the players. So continuing the tradition every year and showing each and every day that hockey is for every single person. We welcome everybody.
Now, contrast that with the statement that his teammates Eric and Mark Staal made before the game. After many thoughts, prayers, and discussions, we have chosen not to wear a Pride jersey tonight. The statement should probably just end there.
Sure.
Probably, yeah.
No, they should explain themselves.
We carry no judgment on how people choose to live their lives. I thought that was an interesting sentence. And believe that all people should be welcome in all aspects of the game of hockey. Having said that, we feel, we feel that us wearing a Pride jersey goes against our Christian beliefs. I think there's Christians somewhere going, this is not what we believe. But anyway, we hope you can respect this statement. We will not be speaking any further on the matter, and we will continue to focus on the game and helping the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Eric and Mark Staal.
Oops. There's some sort of error in communication there because they did speak further on the matter after the game, which I think is counter to what they wanted. But
yes. Bad. So it's funny. Eric Staal was asked about this, and he said, "But you wore this before." And
this is the strangest thing.
And he said, "No, I have never have." And they said, "No, but you have." And he said, "No, I have never." Not only has Eric worn it, but so has Mark.
Oh, Mark wore it too.
Yeah, both have had their Pride jerseys auctioned.
When did Mark wear it?
I don't know.
It doesn't. Yeah, but
I have the auction pictures right here if you want to see them.
Sure. Yeah,
number 18 Staal, number 21, and I'm assuming that might be. I don't even know where Mark Staal would have worn that, but I know Eric Ward in Montreal, New York or Detroit.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that now it's like, well, since it's okay.
Yeah, the winning bid was $750. Like we have all the information about like who bid and who won, and the money went to the organization.
But it's not just a jersey that exists. There's photo and video evidence of him wearing it. And it's just
in 4K.
Here's the quote.
Sportsnet.
I haven't before. I never have. I haven't worn a Pride jersey before.
And like, listen, people change their minds all the time. But this is not him changing his mind. It's him saying this never happened.
Now
so weird.
Maybe he forgot, but it seems like an odd thing to have forgotten.
Well, okay. So is that the rink side?
That is, yeah.
Is that Aaron Brown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, read the full tweet. Read the full tweet because it's even worse.
Florida Panthers Eric Staal post game when told there is photographic evidence of him wearing a Pride jersey in Montreal. I haven't before. I never have. I haven't worn a Pride jersey before.
So it's not. He's being told, "Hey man, there's a picture."
Now,
and he's saying, "No, there isn't."
Now,
which is really strange.
We have to allow that maybe he forgot. But I thought the funniest reply on Twitter was...
But you're being told there's a photo.
No.
You're being... Somebody is telling you this image exists, and you're denying that.
My favorite...
What if I pull out my phone and I show you? Are you going to say no?
No. It's Photoshop.
I don't get it.
I think the funniest tweet, though, that I saw was, I guess they haven't got to the part of the Bible with thou shalt not lie. And
I don't know if he's lying.
I don't know if he is either, but it's like, it's such an own. Like, nope, haven't.
Yeah, it's just what I said in the LFR yesterday is like, I'm not doing this from scratch again. Like we've had
the conversation. We know how we feel,
and it was a long one, and it's exhausting, every time it happens. And I'm sure this won't be the last. And you know, Ivan Provorov and James Reimer and Eric and Mark Staal are not the emperors of Christians.
No, they don't represent the religion. Well, and I think it's an important thing.
No,
they're hiding behind a certain interpretation that a lot of Christians, and including the Pope, do not. The Pope has come out and on record said, everybody is to be welcomed, nobody is to be marginalized. There are direct quotes of that.
Have they done like Vatican Pride jerseys?
Day, yeah. No, they haven't done Vatican Pride jerseys yet.
Oh, okay. I won't hold my breath.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, the reality of the situation is all this jersey signifies is you're welcome here.
Yeah, Steve,
that's all it does.
You say like you're exhausted by like talking about it. Imagine how people of the LGBTQ plus community feel. You know, if you're exhausted, it's just, I can't even, like, my heart goes out to them in all these situations every time it comes up. But there is some good that if we talk about the bad, we should also talk about the good. And Steve, you have the list of, there's 3 teams over the last like week or so that have all worn their Pride jerseys. Everybody on the team, they've warmed up in them.
It's a shame how much attention, and maybe we're guilty of this as well, the teams with players who don't wear it, how much attention they suck up. Because we were like, you were like, oh, we should shout out the Dallas Stars because everyone in the Dallas Stars wore it. And I said, yeah, and I think the Kraken. And you're like, you think the Kraken? You should probably check. And I go, oh, okay. And I looked it up, and it's the Dallas Stars, the Seattle Kraken, and the LA Kings.
Yeah, I know the Kings one happened too. But yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's from Outsports. It's from Jim Basinski.
Mm-hmm.
All of them wore the title of the article is Dallas Stars, Seattle Kraken, and LA Kings all wore Pride jerseys, and nobody noticed.
And again, just want to shout out to anybody who's in that community who listens to this show. You are welcome here. You are wanted here. It's it's wild that this is happening, but here we are. Now, the other thing I want to talk about in following up is Nazem Kadri was asked by SDPN's own Julian McKenzie.
So it was Julian who asked him.
Yeah, asked him about James Reimer's comment over the weekend, and if we want to rewind it, essentially James Reimer said, "Well, I'm a big fan of Nazem Kadri. We were friends. We were teammates forever. We're friends. I wouldn't wear a Muslim Pride jersey, and I think he would understand that. But he knows that I'm a good guy, etc., etc." And when Nazem Kadri was asked about it, here's what he said. I mean, James is a great guy. I'm not sure how I got tied into it, really. At the end of the day, his opinions are his opinions, and he's got a prerogative to have those opinions. For us, I think it's most important, whether it's an ethnicity, community, or anybody, is welcomed at our hockey rink. That is where we stand.
Here, can I help Naz out? I'd like to help Naz out. He doesn't know where this came from. I know where it came from, Naz. It came from a scenario that James Reimer made up. That is not a thing. It's not a thing. Well, I wouldn't expect someone to wear... No one's asking you to wear that. That's not a thing.
It's also a religion, and a religion is a choice, right? Mm-hmm. Who you are attracted to is not. And I think that's what people are missing here. Who you love,
yeah.
And what you are is there's so much that we're born into that's completely out of our hands, and all these people are asking for it. This isn't like I saw so many people online go like, I didn't choose to be gay, I just am.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference that James doesn't seem to get with Naz is religion. You know, whether you grew up in a religious house or you found it later. It is a choice. It's a choice to believe. They're open about that.
It's just like it's a choice to make up scenarios that never happened.
Bingo.
That are not things. It's not a scenario. It's not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought Nazem, to his credit, said on Flames Pride Night, which is March 28th, which is 4 days from now, said, yeah, I think we're going to continue with it. It's an initiative we have. We want to welcome everybody to the Saddle Dome. We want to continue to grow this game and get as many people watching hockey as we possibly can.
Hooray.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, listen, that's good. And I think those teams, can you shout them out again? The Seattle Kraken.
The Seattle Kraken, the Dallas Stars, and the LA Kings.
Deserve. It's funny.
I thought the Ducks did too, but I guess not.
It's funny because
those are the recent ones.
You want to give credit where it's due. And I give that credit, but we're in this scenario, we're sort of giving credit because other teams can't even meet the lowest possible bar.
Yeah. The bar's not very high.
It sucks. Yes. And you know what? To all the Panthers players that did wear the jersey,
that's the thing, right?
Yeah, I think Matt Tkachuk is saying a lot there between the lines. Here are two fringe players for his team sucking up all the oxygen out of a night that really does matter, that he's clearly passionate about. Those guys are fringe guys. They're at this point in their career, they are lucky to be in the game. Honestly, do you think that Jordan and Mark Staal at their skill level currently would be playing NHL hockey if they weren't called Staal?
No, but having this thought process in the locker room is relevant because Mark Staal's wore a letter most of his career.
Yep.
And Eric Staal for a lot of his career was a captain.
Absolutely. And beloved in the communities he was in.
Oh, I met Eric Staal. He was a happy, charming guy. It goes to what I was saying in the Reimer conversation is, does this one bad belief make you a bad person? And I was talking about how people are complicated, and it kind of reminded me, every now and then, I think a lot of what SNL does kind of stinks, but every now and then they do something where I'm like, damn, that's perfect. Like, you got all of society in one sketch. And Tom Hanks on Black Jeopardy was...
Yeah.
Because they have this guy and everyone's like, I don't know about this guy. And as the sketch goes, you're like, oh, I relate to this guy. I relate to him so much, and he's charming, and I feel like we could be friends. And then it's like, hey, what do you think of this? And the whole sketch ends. It's like, well, it was fun while it lasted,
right,
sort of thing. And I just kind of feel like that's where it ended up with him. Like, he does this, he does that, he does that. But this.
The Staals are from Thunder Bay, and Rainbow Collective of Thunder Bay issued this statement. We wish Eric and Mark would understand that Pride Inclusion Nights and jerseys are about inclusion in sport and having a welcoming arena to enjoy the game of hockey. Wearing a Pride jersey or a rainbow is not about endorsing certain values or that you yourself are gay. What it's saying is that you're welcome here and that this sport is welcoming of diverse backgrounds. Now more than ever, it's vitally important that allies stand up and speak out about unconscious and unconscious biases. The community has invested in their hometown hockey heroes, and it is more important than ever that Eric and Mark are role models to not only their own children, but to those youth who look up to them, because they are like gods there. The 2S LGBTQA plus communities deserve better, and we urge Eric and Mark to understand that these nights are vitally important to ensuring a truly welcoming and inclusive hockey community, and that is signed the Rainbow Collective of Thunder Bay. Well written. So, I mean, like Steve said in the LFR last night, if you want to know our thoughts on this, our entire back catalog is available to you, but you can just listen to the previous episode. We've always sort of been on this side, and it's never changed.
So I am enjoying those mentions.
What do you mean?
Oh, when did you go all soft and woke?
You must be new here.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's move on to the Winnipeg Jets. Scott Billick, who is the the Jets beat writer for the Winnipeg Sun, had a really interesting conversation with Rick Bowness.
I have not seen this.
Now, let me ask you guys, if you were to sum up the last 2 weeks of Winnipeg Jets hockey in a couple of words, what would it be?
How do you describe what ends up in Leo's diaper?
Woo!
Smelly and
green,
caca, yucky.
Oh, okay, there we go. We found it.
This quote gets better as it goes along.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start, and you're going to be like, okay, that's not really much, but wait for the end. The stunning conclusion.
Oh.
The question from Scott: do you need more commitment from some of your best players right now? Rick Bowness: I've got to get more out of them. Put it that way.
Oh boy.
Okay, so listen, if you lose, Sheldon Keefe would say that. I need more from my best guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every coach ever, I think, says that.
Why do you say it's on you to do more to motivate them? Who motivates you when you wake up in the morning? And then so that was Rick's question back to the reporter. Who motivates you when you wake up in the morning? Scott says, myself. And Rick says, there you go. So Scott says, so why do you say then that you need to do more to motivate those guys? Rick Bowness says, that's what we're dealing with. That's part of our job. It's to stay on top of them and to keep pushing them, and don't let them get into a comfort zone, and don't let them back off. Sometimes you're doing that and you're not even aware that you're doing it. So it has to be shown. It has to be talked to. It has to be addressed. We'll keep pushing, and then the rest is on them. Quote, if we were allowing this and not addressing that they can do more, that's one thing. But we are addressing it, and now that next step has to come from them. And Scott says this question to sum up the quote, just seems a little odd that you need to motivate some of these veterans. And Rick says, yep, that's what we're dealing with. Now, to the Winnipeg Jets' credit, they've surprised a lot of people this season with their play.
Yes.
They've been very competitive. Connor Hellebuck continues to be Connor Hellebuck. You haven't heard about the drama, because there's been drama, and not the fun drama type. It's been dark and toxic sounding.
Yeah.
Rumors of this in Winnipeg for years.
Yeah.
So probably since after their 2017 run, where they lost to the Golden Knights, and they really should have been in the finals.
I remember Friedge mentioning on 32 Thoughts probably over a year ago, the COVID bubble hit the Jets particularly hard, which I can understand. But then it seemed like they were never really able to get it back on track until this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think so. They got it back on track, but then it has fallen off again.
Yeah, because like you guys outlined, like that summer conversation about the Jets was horrific.
It was dark
when our rare shows in August or early September. That was, hey, is Mark Scheifele gonna get traded here? Like, are we running out of the days of that little core? Is Kyle Connor going out the door? And then they're fine. Like the fall and the depths of the winter were fabulous for the Winnipeg Jets, and they shocked everybody. And then now we're back to what we thought during the summer. And it's like, okay, what are the real Winnipeg Jets? Is this always going to be a situation where they keep running out this core and it eventually falls off, like how it has in the last couple of weeks, because they can't sustain a season long or a deep playoff run with this group? And I wonder how it's going to go in the playoffs here. They better watch out for Nashville. If you can't win these games down the stretch, you better watch out, because Nashville can throw together a little stretch here and get right into your last playoff spot. Don't worry about Calgary. But
no, we're talking about Calgary next, by the way.
If Nashville just wins their games in hand, they pass the Jets.
Yeah. They have 3 games in hand. That would give them 6 points. That would pass the Jets.
See, that's the position you don't want to be in, right? You've now taken it out of your hands.
So they're a lot closer than 5 points.
We got some real honesty from Rick Bowness, and I think it starts, obviously, you know, when these situations of guys not trying, that's from the captain down, that's from the leadership core down, that's who he's speaking to. And for him to go public with that stuff in an interview, it's very honest. It's a look into, hey, the last month hasn't been great, and these guys need to give more effort.
Well, and this is the thing, is that there's never been a doubt about the Winnipeg Jets' talent. It's always been a commitment thing.
They have one of the most talented cores in the league.
Absolutely. Ehlers, Connor, Wheeler, Scheifele, those are unbelievable weapons.
Hellebuck.
I think they would disagree with you that Ehlers is part of the core.
Well, which is crazy. I'll take Ehlers on my team any day. Please give us Ehlers. I think...
Watch that be the move.
Oh, man,
summer.
It'd be amazing.
It's all right, guys. We got it.
Ehlers is the guy. It'll be like the Chicago Blackhawks when they traded Panarin. It's like the problem is not Panarin, but they traded the not problem and continued to keep the problems. And I think...
Difference is they played Panarin.
That's true. And I think the thing is with the Jets, like, they are fully capable of being in the playoffs and being a threat. Can these guys... Like, when I look at Scheifele and Wheeler, Kyle Connor, I exclude from this because that guy always performs, no matter how good or bad they are. But Scheifele and Wheeler, it does come down to them. And are you a great player? Are you an Olympic level player? Or are you just below? Not that we're going to the Olympics, but if we were going to put the Olympics together, everybody would have Mark Scheifele on that team skill-wise. But is that... You remember how Chris Kunitz made the Olympics and he played with Sidney Crosby, rode shotgun with Sidney Crosby, and he was great?
He was unreal.
And everybody's like, what the hell is this guy doing here? And he was great. I think it's like if one of those players becomes available, or Chris Draper making the Olympics
team. Kirk Maltby,
you know, because they come in, they play a role. What role is Mark Scheifele going to be? Is he's not Connor McDavid, the all offense, not that Connor doesn't play some defense, but it's not his strength. So you don't need Scheifele for all offense. You certainly can't use him for forward defensive depth. So what is he? And the Americans, maybe they're a little thinner, but even then, like, do you need Blake Wheeler to score you a pile of goals, or is it going to come from Austin Matthews and a bunch of the younger guys?
2010 Olympics. How many points did Rick Nash have?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. Because he adapted from being NHL Rick Nash to, hey, this is the Olympics and someone's got to be the shutdown guy. Can you do that? And he did that. And he was great. And the depth guys on Team Canada and Team USA and most Olympic teams need to be able to do that. You know who was being talked about for the Olympic team had the Olympics actually happened last year? Andrew Mangiapane. Was working his way into that conversation.
40 goal a year.
Well, he had an incredible season offensively, but he was also a spark plug and a guy who could be on the penalty kill. Right? I just don't know if that's the guy.
Well, and this is the thing, is that what I'm saying about Scheifele and Wheeler is not that they're not capable.
Oh, they're definitely capable.
They're capable. Kyle Connor's capable. Ehlers is capable. Although it seems like he is the next Nordic person to be traded for less than his value. I do when it comes to the Jets.
Wow.
You have the talent. You are in your prime. Wheeler's a little past his prime. Scheifele's right in it.
Yeah.
It's time now. Show me that you're an elite NHL player, because Scheifele is undoubtedly an elite NHL player when he puts it together. Kyle Connor, undoubtedly. Nikolai Ehlers, I think, should be. The way they're using him is odd. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, and also, like, I wonder what it does to a room when, like, you have to ask the question: does Pierre-Luc Dubois wear Habs Under Armour under his Jets uniform?
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned his name in this entire conversation.
But you got a guy with commitment issues and brought him to a team with commitment issues.
Right.
But
commitment to the play.
But like this wasn't like in Columbus, it was get me out of here. And in Winnipeg, it's trade me to this very specific place.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm under contract and have no right to go anywhere.
Right?
So,
like, kudos to the Jets this summer for just being like, no.
Yeah.
Does Pierre-Luc Dubois understand what it's like to play in Montreal, though? Because here's my thing. You play like that in Montreal, they'll fucking eat you alive.
Yeah. He has a big role on this team, too. And
he's not a bad hockey player.
Of course he's not.
No, not at all.
That's why we're expecting things. If he was a bad hockey player, we wouldn't expect anything.
No, he's and I think he's the sort of guy you would love to have in the playoffs, but like you got to get there first, dude.
Yeah. I don't exclude him at all from that conversation of guys who need to get their head in this.
Well, and this is the thing, right? Like, Jets fans, like, I don't know if Jets players, like, especially the ones that have been there a long time, you play in other arenas, you must be aware that there's very few communities that get behind the NHL team, like an NHL team like the Jets do.
Jets fans really get behind the Jets.
Like, they are in that is a fabric of the community team. And they've been there about just a little over a decade, and then obviously there's the previous Jets. You're lucky to play there. You're lucky to have that kind of noise. You make the playoffs, that's the loudest building in the arena of all the arenas. No question. So come on, take your $8 million paycheck and put a little more oomph into your step.
I'm fascinated by Mark Scheifele, like as a player and a person.
And a person. Yeah.
When he drives by, do you go, wow?
Wow.
And then you're like, oh, I should get a Hyundai.
I hate you right now.
I do. Wow. I do. And that's why no, they don't have it. There's no promo code for the Hyundai
it's
here
Mark
on the
Scheifele.
SDP. Yeah. Wow.
I say that because he was portrayed as such a student of the game, and like he knows everyone's sticks, and he watches hockey in his off time. And
that could be true, but he may have motivation issues from time to time, as we all do. We're human beings.
I guess I watch hockey, but it's not necessarily that I'm the hardest worker out there on the ice.
Is it?
I am when
fair
Jesse's
to say?
out there.
Yeah, but you can't keep up, so it doesn't matter.
You can be a lazy nerd.
Whoa, you
try hard, but everybody's blowing past you. Is it fair to say?
I still have a bruise on my ribs, you asshole.
Let him say something.
If the Nashville Predators sneak into the playoffs and the Winnipeg Jets miss the playoffs, everybody's gone.
No,
you think they'd run it back again?
They're going to run it back again.
Oh,
no
gosh.
way.
You know why?
You got to do major
So first off,
surgery.
Wheeler's gone, right? Mm-hmm. Wheeler's isn't his contract up at the end of this year, or is it Scheif's that's up? Who's up?
I don't know,
because it was Scheifele that said after, I got to know what the future is.
Let's get it.
He was sitting wide-eyed at that press conference last year at the end of the year. I need to know from management what the future is because I got to know. Well, okay. Well, why don't you play like a little bit like that guy that we saw at the press conference? And I'm not. Again, I feel like I'm picking on Scheif. I'm not trying to, but you are the 3 or 4 guys that we keep mentioning are the ones that are going to win them the games. Go ahead, Jess.
Ehlers signed for 3 more years. Mark Scheifele 2 more years, or 1 year after this is what I should be saying. Kyle Connor signed for 3 years after this. Blake Wheeler another year after this. Nino another year. Adam Lowry 3 more years. Mason Appleton 2 more years. The only UFAs are Vladdy Nemes, Sam Gagner. Like, no major names on the roster at all are UFAs. Like Logan Stanley.
Okay, so give me some AAVs, Jesse. Give me Wheeler's AAVs.
You want the AAVs? Okay, Blake Wheeler's 8.2. Cal Connor 7.1.
Great.
Mark Scheifele is 6.1.
Wow,
like that's an unreal contract.
Ehlers is 6.
Good contract.
PLD is 6 and an RFA.
He's still an RFA after this?
Yeah,
so
still
wait,
an RFA.
They don't even have to send him to Montreal after his contract's done?
No, they have the rights to PLD.
What the fuck?
So here's the thing.
Josh Morrissey's 6.2.
Oh,
Nate Schmidt is
unreal.
5.9. Neil Pionk's 5.8.
That's tough.
This team, the cap situation is fabulous.
Pionk stinks. I think he does. Come on. People try to convince me for a season that Neil Pionk was worth Jake Trouba. He wasn't. He was never worth Jake Trouba. He was always a downgrade. Stop gaslighting me.
He had the best season of his career.
Wow.
He did.
He was still 60% of what Jake Trouba brought. And I think, listen, there's a reason why some of these guys all want out. Why do you think Pierre-Luc Dubois gets there, plays 1 year, and wants to go? Listen, it's got to be more than just Montreal good. Maybe it's Winnipeg bad. And not Winnipeg the city. I'm talking about the culture in the dressing room.
It's interesting you say
PLD,
Pionk peaked in his previous home because like Nate Schmidt's kind of a similar situation. Like Nate Schmidt's career seemed to peak in Vegas. and now it's in Winnipeg.
Stinky caca.
You know? I don't think he's bad. It's just it peaked earlier.
I think it's the role they need him to play. Nate Schmidt is a very specific defenseman. He's got great wheels. I don't know if he's still the skater he used to, because he did have some injuries, but he could always wheel, right? He was great. I think the thing is, the reason I think the Jets, you asked the question, Jesse, if they don't make the playoffs,
heads will roll.
Do they blow it up? Heads will roll. Well, here's the problem. The guy that they wanted to trade last year was the guy nobody wanted, Blake Wheeler. And even so, you've got to hold back on that contract. Now he's having a good year. He's got 50 points in 64 games. The majority of those being assists.
That is a 36-year-old man who makes $8.2 million next year.
You need him at half that price.
Yeah.
You need him at half that price. And he's 36. And he's what, 3 more years, you said?
1 more year.
1 more year.
This, yeah.
Okay, so I can see that being a guy where you trade him at the deadline next year if you're out of it, or you trade him at the draft and retain. But it's one of those where
retaining a whole season. Tough.
Well, what else do you do, right? If you want to make, but this is the thing. This is why I think they roll it back, because what do you do with what they have? You don't want to trade those deals. That Scheifele deal, that Morrissey deal, they're
so good.
They have some amazing
contracts. Like Shovel Dayoff, I don't blame him for going, no, fuck it, we're keeping it. Look at how great these contracts are.
Imagine the cap goes up, like the big jump, like it's $8 million, and you have Josh Morrissey until 2029 at $6.2 million.
He's still 2029.
It's 2028. Sorry, 2028.
That's a deal. That's a really good deal. He might win the Norris. He probably won't, but he might win the Norris.
He'd be a runner-up. He's a guaranteed runner-up.
Eric Carlson should win the Norris.
Yeah. But like Josh Morrissey, oh my god!
Yeah.
Carlson,
but like
Morrissey, Fox.
That's crazy value, and like the Blake Wheeler contract is clearly an albatross. Because he's so old and so much money. But then your next highest contract is Kyle Connor, who's 26 and makes $7.1 million and could put up 40 goals any year.
He's been really disappointing too. Like we were talking about him in the 50-goal conversation, and he scored for like the first time. He had like a Kerfoot-esque streak. What's he at this season?
28 after the 47-goal season last year. He only has 28 this year. His assist numbers are up, though. He's already at 46. The 46 was his career high last year.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day...
It's only 11 games left.
The frustrating thing about the Jets is that they're good enough to be there more than. They're good enough to be a playoff team this year and next.
Yeah.
And it's fucking frustrating, I'm sure, as a coach and as management to go, we have all these great value on these deals. We got this incredible engaged fan base that is like almost... Look at that. What's the streak called when the Jets are in the playoffs and they all dress in white and blue and they're all like bananas with the Dale Howard-Chuck
the
statue?
Airstrip.
Is it the air? It should be called the airstrip.
Yeah. The
runway.
The whiteout.
The whiteout. No, but you know, there's the outdoor.
Oh,
and so it's like
a street,
and they're in the first round, and it's like outdoor of the arena, and they're all watching, and it's fucking minus 95 because it's Winnipeg in April, and they're all still out there partying like it's 30 degrees and it's July.
Not a coat in sight.
Not what? There's a bunch of people there with cargo shorts on. It's crazy, and I like the Jets. Winnipeg deserves this team at its best, and these guys don't get it. I don't think. I don't know if these guys get their wish and get traded. There is no guarantee that you ever play for a team as talented as this current Jets team is. You just don't know.
Here's a thought, and I'll use 2 non-Winnipeg Jets teams to equate it. Remember, they were coming up with the playoff format for the COVID bubble. Mm-hmm. They were coming up with the qualifying round, or what? Mm-hmm. Qualifying round. Who was against the format? Do you remember?
I don't know.
There was one team in particular that was really against it. Pittsburgh. You know why? They had to play Montreal. Who does Montreal have? Carey Price. Do you think teams want to run into Connor Hellebuck?
No.
Forget the Jets. Do you think teams want to run into Connor Hellebuck for 4 to 7 games?
Nope.
Not this year. Nuh-uh. Get in!
If they do if the heads start rolling and Dubas is still around, because that's still a question, the Leafs had better be the first ones in on a guy like Connor Hellebuck.
Oh my god! Can you fucking imagine?
I can fucking imagine. You give the first round pick forever for Connor Hellebuck. That guy, which oh my god, it's my favorite goalie. I love Connor Hellebuck. I want him. Okay, this is just announced during the show, and Steve Steve, you're excited about this. From Sean Fitzgerald, ESPN Films announced today that production has completed on, quote, I'm Just Here for the Riot, a 30 for 30 documentary about the 2011 Vancouver Stanley Cup riot. Now,
I love a sports documentary.
30 for 30s are so good, too.
Give me it.
Do you guys remember that?
Of course. I watched it live.
I was in Calgary, and I remember watching the game end, and that was a heartbreaking game, right? 4-0, and it's like
it wasn't close for a moment.
No, and it's like, and just after you thought like the Canucks are going to win this, you know.
Nah, I didn't think that.
Well, the Canucks thought they were, because apparently Mike Gillis was toasting their win, and Roberto Luongo. What was the infamous comment he made? Some sort of comment.
I'm not here to pump his tires.
Right. So, but what was interesting is that back then, it was an early game. I remember that.
Yes, it was still daytime.
Still daytime.
Out east.
And the CBC in Vancouver was playing it because it was Hockey Night in Canada on CBC at the time. So what was fascinating was they went from the hockey feed, we were all watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, to the news, the national feed, right? They went right into the news.
It's just smoke.
But it started, you could see like the CBC Vancouver guy, they kept it on that feed, or at least the feed I was watching. And they had a great street side studio, I think, at the time. And they were talking, and they had these shots like, oh, there's some fights and whatever, some discord. And then...
Which is normal.
Yes, which is normal after a loss, and people fight and whatever. Normal. And then we saw, Jesse and I, by the way, after Game 7 last year, we're walking out with Natalie and Jesse's girlfriend, Gabby, and there's Leaf fans fighting each other.
I saw 2 Leaf fans fight each other.
It's just like...
Those idiots.
Yeah. Idiots. Like, we just lost to Tampa. Let's beat the shit out of each other. Morons. But...
My wife was freaking out. I think it was the first time she ever saw something like that.
What happened was you get I love this sometimes with the news, is you get real time reaction as it's happening because the story is unfolding right outside of their door. And that's what happened. And I don't even know why still to this day it really happened. People said there was provocateurs that would come in and they were there. They were just there to smash stuff and blow stuff up.
I'm fascinated to see Vancouverites talk about it and people from BC, because what I remember is a lot of Vancouverites swear up and down that it was people from the suburbs coming in, like Richmond and stuff like that. Although Richmond's its own place. But you know what I mean? Like all the cities that are outside.
Theater cities.
Yes. Coming in and starting shit. I just remember, and I talked about this in the book, being part of that massive crowd coming out of the very same building the very year before, when Canada won the gold medal. And I was just walking around and just like, this could get bad real fast. And it didn't, because everyone was in a good mood. But it was interesting to see it.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember, Jess? Do you remember where you were? What you were doing?
Not really.
No?
No, not for that one. I don't remember where it was. I don't think I was paying attention. I think I might have just turned off the game after...
Oh, they lost.
Because I wasn't like heavy on Twitter at that time or anything like that.
No.
Yeah. Right, so you see it come up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
we watch this on TV like old people.
I know, right?
Well, that's when I had cable and I was watching on a linear channel. I think it'll be a fascinating documentary. I'm excited to see how they kind of handle it, and what do Vancouverites have to say about it now? And what's the investigation say?
They need interviews with... I'm interested if anyone we know from sports broadcasting is going to be in the doc. They need to interview the couple in the weird makeout picture.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
I don't understand that. There was an infamous fan video of a guy getting completely KTFO'd. Mm-hmm. And I assume they're going to interview both parties. Mm-hmm. There's an iconic picture of a dude standing in front of a window just doing like a crazy scream, and there's like fire. Everyone in all the famous photos they have to get. And I assume they'd be easy to find because they'd all be like in a police database. Well, because I think there were a lot of arrests that followed.
ESPN is nothing if not thorough on these two. They're like, they turn over every stone. It's amazing.
They made me care about the Indiana Pacers. So
they made me care about the 1989 World Series where there was I think it was the Giants were playing and they had like there was an earthquake.
What?
And part of the stadium collapsed. Like,
what?
Yeah. Oh, it's a crazy story.
There's
Stuff on there that you just don't even know.
There's been so many sports. There's been so much sports.
Yes.
I saw a clip yesterday. They're like, Steve, have you ever seen this? You should do a video about this. And I go, what is this? It's Doug Gilmour on the Flames. So young, long-haired Doug Gilmour on the Flames in a game against the Kings. The Kings waxed the Flames. It was like 8-4. Gilmour is yapping at the Kings bench. The Kings coach at the time, I don't remember the guy's name, walks to the end of the bench and punches Doug Gilmour in the face.
What? I've never heard of that.
Dude, Gilmour is on the ice and the coach of the other team walks over and punches him right in the face.
No way.
I think it was also 1989. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in my entire life. I had no idea this happened.
Can you imagine the outrage today if a coach did that?
Oh my, we'd never see that coach again. Are you joking me?
Well, I don't know if he'd get Babcocked, but
LA King coach Webster punches Gilmour. This is 90-91.
Wow.
Like so this is an ugly situation. There's players shoving each other from the bench and on the ice.
Did the punch already happen?
No.
Gilmour's at the bottom. Gilmour's at the bottom.
He's number 39. Yeah, lots of people very upset. There's Gary Roberts involved, but they're shoving the glass and everything, like Patrick Waugh styles. Where's Doug? I've lost him in the crowd. There he is. Are you showing the footage, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's from a network that probably doesn't exist anymore. I don't think anyone's going to get it.
Okay, so the glass has now come down.
Wow.
They took it off. Yeah, no, this is getting real ugly real fast.
This is wild.
The wide shot is in black and white.
Oh, Gretzky's in this game.
Yeah, he's on the ice. He's just sitting on the side, not getting involved.
Yeah, Gretzky's doing the smart thing.
Neuendijk is there at the bottom right.
Do you think the day after this game, sports radio went on and was like, Gretzky, he should have got in there, like how they do with
Probably. There's Al McInnes.
Like how they yelled at Austin earlier this year?
No, they should. You know why? Because they all knew Gretzky would never get involved in that.
Here it is. Here it comes. I'm pretty sure here it comes. So there's Gilmour. He's getting yanked. He's getting pushed. Yeah, this is getting real ugly.
Steve, where's this punch?
Dude, shut up.
There's no punch. No, that's just, it started again.
Yeah,
the video started
again.
again.
Replay now.
Well, I'm not the one who brought up the fucking video, am I? It's not my fault for finding the wrong one.
By the way.
Or you finding the wrong one. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here we go. That's Gilmour. And he's pointing, and he gets punched right in the face.
Oh, that's the punch there?
Yeah, he gets punched right in the face. There and that's the coach. Points at him, and whoom!
Oh, yeah.
He got fined.
Oh, wow.
You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. This is how little things change. This happened in what, 92, you said?
Yeah.
The coach
91.
91. It's 2023. The coach was fined $5,000.
No way! No way! $5,000?
He was also suspended 4 games.
That would have been half of his salary back then.
Well, yeah, he was fined $5,000 and suspended 4 games.
Wow!
For punching an on-ice player. Isn't that wild?
Wow!
I wonder who was in charge of discipline at the time.
Tom Webster, is the name of the coach. Webster was given a 4-game suspension by the NHL in order to pay a $5,000 fine. Gilmour was suspended for 2 games and fined $500. And what? Joel Otto was punished with a $500 fine as well.
Those are the only punishments to come out of that?
According to Steve Springer of the LA Times in 1991, Gilmour actually threw the first punch. It's hard to tell from the video. We can see Gilmour uses his left hand to point, but it isn't clear that he threw a punch towards Webster. Over 196 penalty minutes were handed out in the contest. Rod Buskas had 20, and then they list some different guys who had a lot. Yeah. It was crazy. That time.
Tom Webster of New England Whalers fame in the 70s. He coached the LA Kings for 3 years. They finished 4th in the Smythe, lost in the second round, 1st in the Smythe, lost in the second round, and then lost in the first round in that year, 91-92. And he was replaced by Barry Melrose of ESPN fame.
Shout out Patrick Trudeau of the Hockey Beast, who wrote an article on this. That a brawl ensued after a coach punched Doug Gilmour in the face.
That's the guy on all the flags. Oh, sorry. No. He's really popular in Oshawa. That guy.
Oh, is he?
What? You weren't making a joke about Trudeau and flags?
It's a joke about.
Okay, so you were making a joke.
All right, I get it.
You gotta.
No, it's Patrick Trudeau of the LA Times is not a popular figure in Oshawa. I don't think anyone knows who he is.
The hockey beast, not the LA Times. 2, it's a hockey thing. It could have been with Oshawa. 3, work on your setups.
4, kiss my ass.
That's the thing. Sometimes Steve's very funny, but sometimes all his setup happens in his head.
Yeah.
and then we get the punchline, and he's like, waka waka.
Is that your Steve?
Waka waka
from the Muppets.
I know who you're talking about.
Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie Bear.
Steve, I don't think you're very waka waka.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
So one of the things that we talked a lot about was Jordan Binnington and Marc-Andre Fleury last week. Jesse, there's a video that I want you to pull if you don't mind.
Okay.
And people forget that the person that got under Jordan Binnington's skin was Ryan Hartman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he wasn't really the story. Benner was the story. Marc-Andre Fleury not being able to fight him was the story, even though he was like, hey, this will be fun.
Ryan Hartman's had a hell of a season or two.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the guy who gave Evander Kane the middle finger.
Oh.
And then Evander Kane's ex-wife donated to the GoFundMe to pay off his fine.
Wow, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Ryan Hartman, power forward. He was on a podcast. This is the thing, man. Outside of Toronto, like some of these players actually go on podcasts and say stuff. Toronto, it's like locked down. At least PR, you can't talk to anyone in season unless it's directly after the game.
I haven't asked for a while. We'll see.
Ryan Hartman talking about what he said to get under Jordan Binnington's skin, and I want to know what you guys think.
I definitely remember not scoring. He's usually not in the net when I score against him. He's usually behind the net. Yeah, usually behind the net.
Shots fired.
No, I actually didn't even see that, to be honest. It started with him spearing Ecker in the end of the first period.
Ecker.
And that's what Fleury was talking about, right?
Well, Ecker was held from behind with his head up, like always, and he came up into the pile and gave him
little bag check.
Yeah, bag check, and then I was pretty pissed off about that. Kind of just let it settle because we were down 3-1, and then we scored 3 goals to make it 4-3. They called a timeout, and then I went out there and just told them to stay in it. You're all right. Just stay in it. You'll be okay. And he didn't like it very much.
He acted like you were his teammate. Like, you'll be okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right, man. Just stay in this. You got this. You got this.
Stay in it.
And that's when he started coming over to our bench and mouthing off. And yeah. And then before that draw, actually on that power play that I scored on, I actually told the ref, Kelly Sutherland, I'm like, hey, Binnington's gonna take a penalty this shift. You might want to. Because I was going to stand in front of him, expecting him to
whack you,
to whack me. So I'm like, just keep an eye out on him. He's like, I'll watch out for him. And yeah, sure enough, his wires crossed.
That's good stuff.
That's a funny clip. It's so I don't know. I can't find the podcast that was on, so I apologize for not giving credit. I don't know what it was, but man,
stay in it.
Stay in it is that's a underhanded good shape. Like that's a good chirp.
Don't get kicked out of the game.
That takes some. Well, and also like stay in the game, as in like you're gonna be okay, man.
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna
keep
be
trying.
okay. That is. You ever see that Kevin Garnett clip where he's talking about Tim Duncan?
No.
And he's just like because Kevin Garnett loved to trash talk, but Tim Duncan would just be like, "Ooh, almost." Like every time you missed. Like, just all these like not one-liners, one-worders.
Ooh, almost.
It's the Wild on 7th podcast. It's the official Minnesota Wild podcast.
Oh, like
it's
their
like,
team podcast.
It's like on their
How great
YouTube
is that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, with the Leafs podcast, when I did it, because I did the official Toronto Maple Leafs podcast for 2 years, and I got to tell you, there was no access to players ever.
No,
don't even ask.
Not the current guys?
Not gonna.
Yeah,
never.
but you were under Lou.
Yeah, I was under Lou.
You worked for Lou Lamoriello.
I did. Yeah. And I mean, we
Did
got
you
like
shave?
we got good people. We got like Will Arnett and stuff like that, but we never got and Cat Pascal, and yeah, it was wild. That's great that they do. Also, that studio's nice.
Yeah. Hey, guys, can we have famous actor Will Arnett? Yeah, sure. Hey, guys, can we have Matt Hunwick? Absolutely not.
And don't ever ask us again. I don't know if you guys saw this.
With this, I just want to say it's so easy to get under Binner's skin.
Oh my God.
That was little, the way he describes the story, and then him going to the ref and being like, hey, there a penalty is gonna come up, I'm gonna stand in front of him. Like, fucking mind games. Well done.
I think too
but you can interpret that as, hey, I'm gonna agitate this guy into taking a
also
penalty.
the referee being like, oh yeah, watch out.
If I was his coach, I'd be
on that.
Yeah.
If you're getting involved like that.
Yeah.
If you're Craig Berube, do you not show him that and go, see how easy you are to like, how can I trust you in net if that's how easy it is? Mm-hmm. If it's that easy to get under your skin, then you need to take a good hard look in the mirror, because we're going to lose all the time if you're playing like that.
You got to do this every game to him. If I'm on another team every single game,
if you're Marchand and you're playing the St. Louis Blues, are you not like, let's freaking eat tonight, boys?
Yeah, absolutely.
If
you're a net front guy in that division, congrats.
Brad Marchand, by the way, he quit Twitter. And I told you about that last show, and everybody was wondering why. So a reporter asked him, and he said, because it was funny. I'm going to pull the exact quote, but he quit Twitter for the reason that we should all quit Twitter, but won't.
He's not going to pay for a check mark?
That's exactly it.
No way!
He said they took my 2-step verification away, so I was like, what? I'm going to get out of this now while I can.
Yeah, because the thing pops up and they're like, hey, either you can't have access to your account or take off 2-step verification. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he said the last thing I need is someone hacking me, so if anything comes up, it wasn't me.
That's fucked.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that I like him. Fucking hate how much I like Brad
Elon
Marchand.
stinks. Boo.
Yeah,
it's capitalism, bro. Shut the fuck up, you bootlicker.
Now the other one I want to say before we hit to the press conference here is for Flyers fans, Steve Coates, legendary broadcaster, beloved member of the Philadelphia Flyers, has announced his retirement from broadcasting after 43 years. So congrats to Coatesy, and Flyers fans, you will probably have a new person in the broadcast booth coming this year.
Do you have the Vancouver one?
No, I don't.
John Garrett.
Oh, John Garrett. Yes.
John Garrett leaving the Canucks regional broadcast.
Yes.
He did his sign off yesterday. It was very well done.
Yes, absolutely. People love John Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, big shout out to those two guys. Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Yesterday, threw out for questions on Twitter. And whenever I do that, we get a ton of questions. So I'm going to speed run through all of them.
Let's go. It's the slowest speed run I've ever heard.
What is the difference between 0.4 of a second and less than 0.1 of a second?
This is from Colin. Who's the third pair right D going to be in game one? Lily, Shen, Gust? Question mark?
It'll be Shen, because Riley Shen are now the third pair.
Slash first?
No, they're the third pair.
They're
and by the way, the defensive metrics for the Leafs were spectacular last night without Riley in the lineup, and I feel bad, but the guy's clearly injured. Stop playing him that much.
I think it's going to end up being McCabe Brody, Riley Shen, Giordano Hall. Littlegren on the outside.
This is from DMax74S. Can Steve do a putty from Seinfeld, The Devils impersonation?
The Devils! The Devils!
This is from Scott. The LA Kings are the hottest team in the league since February 1st. Discuss. Yes, they are. They are on fire. Korpisalo is the answer that they needed. Everybody who was upset about the quick trade, take it back. They are amazing. Do you guys have any takes?
Yeah, the last time they did this was 11 years ago, and they won the cup.
I love the way the LA Kings are built. Phil Deneau for me remains my favorite LA King. That is a fucking awesome signing.
Yeah, so really, really good guys on D. I wonder if they're a little young.
Kopitar Deneau in the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm so happy that Quinn Byfield has arrived.
Byfield.
That's been a long journey for the guy. He's still so young, but like the expectations on him when he was 19 were through the roof, and like now it seems like, oh, it's arrival time. And if he has a moment in the playoffs, we could have like a Quinn Byfield playoff moment. It'll be fucking unbelievable.
You know what's unreal? He hasn't had a long journey. Like, he just got here, but he's been through so much, like a wild amount of injuries and just getting established on this team with monsters up the middle, and he's finding his way, man.
Next up, Adam, I think you'll find this one very funny. This is from Frank the Tank. Map of the population around the current Sens Arena versus the proposed location. 905% more people live within 1 kilometer of the proposed site versus the current site.
Oh my God.
So,
as a person with a passing interest in real estate, is that good?
How did they ever build the arena out there?
It was, dude, when I was growing up, because I got family near there, when we drove past it in Ottawa, it was in a fucking cornfield. There wasn't even the hotel that's next to it now.
No.
That number's probably gone down.
Oh yeah. It's just it's in the middle of freaking nowhere.
So
Ottawa's a great city. I
Yes,
like
it
it.
is.
I like it. You got to put an arena near people.
According to this chart that Frank tweeted at us, it says in terms of the 5 kilometer radius of the proposed site, there's 227,000 people, and with the new where the current Canadian Tire Center is, there's 90,000. So,
Man.
So I don't know, guys. Maybe move the fucking arena.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, it's gonna be a smash success.
This one is from Mikey D. Tampa lost 7-2 to Ottawa. Will they make it out of the first round?
Dude, they're
oh, come on, guys. It's Tampa. What are you out of your mind?
I listen. I know
they're going to be competitive, okay? It'll be a tough series, okay?
They're going to be competitive. It'll be tough, but
this is what Tampa...
The slump, yeah, but it's
going to
going on long enough that it's a problem.
No, 5 games left in the season. They're going to go 5-0, and they're going to roll into the playoffs.
We need to watch out for Saturday. Saturday, they play the Boston Bruins. Tampa does. So after this weird losing streak where they're losing to teams like Ottawa 7-2, they have a real test on Saturday.
Boston's not really playing their best hockey either. They're getting results, but their performances within the wins are not as good as they have been.
So with 2 teams kind of reeling, who steps up? What kind of game do we get? Do we get a playoff type game?
Well, I don't know about reeling.
Both teams going at it. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right word, but
no, it'll be the most competitive game either team has played in a while.
That's a good game to watch for Saturday.
Brad Marchand, he actually commented on the whole thing that's going on in the Atlantic Division right now with everybody's talking about the 1v8 versus
the playoff
2v. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't come up with that. Thank you,
okay.
Jesse. Marchand, you have the top 3 teams in one division, which you basically do.
Wow.
He said you have 3 teams that should be going deep. 2 are playing each other in the first round. So I think we should go back to 1 versus 8. So Brad Marchand is a Leaf fan.
So
yeah.
So the thing that's so important, because the thing everybody focuses on is they reseed it 1 through 8, and they're like, look, nothing changes. No, but that's not what the complaint is. The complaint is that the playoff races are between 3 teams. If it's 1 through 8, now you have a chance where there's more than the 3 teams you're competing against for the playoff race. So even if it ends up the exact same, it's more compelling if you're competing versus 8 teams for a spot as opposed to 3. It's so it boggles my mind when people are like, no, it's the same thing. The result is
stop drinking Gary Bettman's Kool-Aid, guys. Come on.
The
result
all the
people
might be the same in terms of the season, but the way you get there, a more compelling point to get there would be 1 through 8.
I don't remember who tweeted it, but it was the Leafs currently have more points than any team in the Western Conference. They trail their own division by 20 points.
This is from Taylor. Proper dishwasher etiquette. Neat and tidy, or if it fits, it fits.
If it fits, it fits. It's the dishwasher's job to do it.
Neat and tidy.
What the hell did I buy the dishwasher for?
Neat and tidy because that is how you get more things to fit.
Oh!
That's a lie. The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Neat and tidy until it's full, and then you cram it.
Or if you're Jesse and Steve at my house, the answer is in the sink.
Yes.
Yeah, I always put my mug in the sink.
They're haters. Yeah. Couple of haters.
Fuck them. You do it.
Yeah, I don't
live here. Fuck them. You do it. All right.
God, I'm gonna miss this place.
Devin, can we get an update on Steve's thoughts about the Tim Stützle contract? What is that in reference to?
I'm pretty sure I said it's amazing.
Oh.
I bet it sucks because it's Ottawa. Boo! No, it's great. It's a good contract. It's just...
I said it's going to be like a really, because he's not even making $8, right?
Yeah,
it's a great deal.
Yeah, it's a fantastic deal. He did start the season pretty slow, and since a certain point in the season, I don't remember exactly when, he's been one of the most productive players.
Who asked the question?
Scroll back up. Devin,
are you asking us to do a deep dive on Tim Stützle?
Hey! Get it? Because he falls for no reason.
Woo! All right.
You know, no one has accused him of that in like months.
Doesn't matter.
This is from
stuck to him now.
Nick says, ask Steve if he feels bonita.
Go
Steve,
ahead.
do you feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
Good, because you look bonita.
Thank you.
This is from Jordan. How crazy of an idea would it be for Samsonov to start home playoff games and Murray to start away games based on their splits?
No, stop it. Don't galaxy brain this. Just put Sammy in until he's hurt. Come on.
First of all, no, that's stupid.
That would be a very baseball way to look at it, though, wouldn't it?
Fucking baseball manager in this situation. They'd ruin it.
It's away, and the Sabbath is 3 days away, and he usually does great on nights where the moon is full.
Shohei Ohtani has struck out the last 46 batters in a row, but a lefty's coming up. Let me bring in our special lefty guy.
Yeah, we pay Shohei $3 million. We pay this next guy $700,000.
Here comes Aaron Loop.
Oh my God, baseball managers.
He's in line for a perfect game, but our analytics say we should take him out.
No, he can't pitch past the seventh.
Yeah, now every pitcher comes out to that in my mind. From Puck Empire on Instagram, I saw this yesterday because someone sent it to me. Ilya Samsonov at home has a .929 save percentage.
Wow.
Away, he has an .892. Matt Murray at home has an .880 save percentage. Away, .920.
Oh, maybe they do have a point then.
No, I think they need to ride it. Split the guys.
That is some silly goosery.
All right, this is rapid fire press conference. Let's keep going. This is from Emily. What is your perception or stereotypes you've heard of each U.S. state that has a hockey team? So let's not do all of them. I'll throw out some quick ones. So Emily said, I live in Ohio. What do you think Ohio is like? It cracks me up to hear other people's thoughts on things like this.
I've been to Ohio, and I found Ohio very nice. But I found downtown Cleveland after the crash, which is when I saw it, a little bit empty.
What's your perception of Seattle?
I love Seattle. It's really nice.
You've never been?
Yeah, I've been to Seattle.
Oh, damn it. There has to be places you haven't been.
Oh, haven't been.
Haven't been. Okay, so I have been to Ohio. I have not been to Seattle. And I think it rains just too much, man.
See, that's funny. All right, what's your perception of Dallas?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Sure are a lot of oil barons.
You know...
guys with big hats.
Yeah. And also, when they bring out fajitas, instead of the loud sizzle... for some reason, all the ingredients go yeehaw really loudly.
All right, I'm gonna do 3 more. What's your perception of Carolina?
Oh man, everyone's real excited to show you their boat.
I like that. My perception of Carolina is everybody has a house on stilts. Because in Carolina, like in northern Florida and like Carolina along the coast there, they have their house on stilts because if there's a hurricane, the water comes in, but the house stays standing and you don't get it flooded.
Which is why you live in a boat.
Is there a lot of water in Carolina?
Well, they're on the coast. Yeah, the ocean. Why the hurricanes? Why do you think?
Yeah, they're not landlocked.
I've never thought about it. All right, let's Minnesota.
It's like the Wyoming tsunamis.
Minnesota.
Boy, do they like being inside. It's really cold.
They're the kind of team that I would want to sign with if they weren't that good and I want to go fishing. That's an Agent Provocateur reference. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
What was it? Was Yuri or something?
Brought up a couple weeks ago.
What the hell was his name?
This thing with his name, and then you remembered it.
Wait, what? What was
the guy? The guy who went fishing instead of. He's like, I want to sign with you because
Seeger, Zdeno Seeger.
Zdeno Seeger.
There you go.
Yeah, I think the My perception of Minnesota is it's everything that Canada thinks it is. Good winters, lots of lakes, lots of big trees, and
Deputy
people playing
Mayor,
hockey in their backyards.
Deputy Mayor Marion Gaborik.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
What is last city? I'm trying to. I gotta
find one that we've never been to.
Yeah, because I keep thinking like Edmonton. You guys have all been
I've been
there.
I've
been
Calgary,
everything.
can't do that. Vancouver, can't do that. Can't do any of the Canadian cities.
No.
What do you guys got? Any for the last one?
I've never been to
All
Vegas.
the Florida ones you've done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to Sunrise.
Yeah, I've never been to
Sunrise. It's an out of the way trip.
You've been to South Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Miami.
Washington. No, we've done
DC,
Washington.
I for
We've
sure
done
have
Washington.
done. Yeah.
Jeez, I'm better traveled than I thought.
Yeah.
I've never been to Vegas. Never been to Vegas.
Steve's been to
You've
Vegas.
never been to Vegas?
No, I never
I've
have.
been to Vegas.
I want to go back.
But Adam, what did you think of that time you didn't go to Vegas? What did you think?
I thought, sure are a lot of drums and explosive stuff here.
Oh, I got one.
Drums?
Well, Joe, because don't they have the drum thing to start the game?
Oh, they do.
yeah.
The drums.
And so everyone in Vegas
Everyone has a drum.
drums.
How do they have that many drummers all
I
the
got
time?
one. San Jose. We'll end on that. Neither of you have been to San
Well, I
Jose.
sure do love living down the street from some guy that founded a company that now is a billionaire.
And not
Oh, that's pretty. That's
Yeah.
they all have ginormous beards and no shirt.
Just people are just sweating computer chips in San Jose.
Okay, let's move on.
just falling out of them.
Emily, I know you asked for states, but we did cities, and
Because
that's
of the
what you get.
vaccine.
All right, this is from Devin. Thoughts on Justin Hall?
Am I right, man?
No, we got to move past that.
Am I right?
Sorry.
Thoughts on Justin Hall being
And the
in
mandates. Excuse me. Thoughts on Justin Hall?
being in the top 20 all time in Leafs plus minus.
Shut the fuck up.
No way, is he?
Yep.
Man.
You know what?
I think
You know what? That's the way it's got to be.
Kyle Dubas is right. Justin Hall is the best defenseman to ever play in Toronto Maple Leafs history.
Ever. I mean,
Thoughts?
lucky him. He's fine. Justin Hall is fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
It is relevant that he's only been a Leaf when the Leafs are good.
I think that's fair.
The Leafs have had some good Leafs on bad teams.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know, let me know when you got to play friggin' 2008 through 2014 and you're still a plus. Let me know. Carl Gunnarsson or something.
Yeah,
Steve,
basically.
Do you have any WrestleMania predictions?
Yeah. They're going to. I feel like they're gonna pull an audible with the main event somehow, but I can't figure out what it is because they are trying so hard to get Cody Rhodes to be the most over person in the company, and while he is over, it's just not going to work. People want to see Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns. It's what the people want. So I think they're going to try to find a way to make it a triple threat. Or there's going to be some sort of... Roman will be betrayed. I can tell you that, and he will drop the belt at WrestleMania. And if he doesn't, I think there's a riot.
This is a fun piece of trivia for a different day. Travis said, name every team leader in points.
Let's
this
do that
season.
another day.
That's
Let's do that another day.
Just what I said.
Yeah. That's
Jared Spurgeon!
So we'll run through at the end of 82 games. I'm gonna run through all 32 teams, and then you got to name who led the team in points that year. That'll be a fun day.
Okay.
How embarrassing will it be when the Wild take the Central with $12.8 million in dead money? That's from Matthew, who handles Minnesota Wild Talk. So we get where your fandom lies.
What a dogfight in
Yeah.
that division, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, any team could win. Any team could finish third. Dogfight. Wild play the Avalanche this upcoming week. That'll be a great one.
We can end on this. It's from @myjohn91. I think this is a John Tavares fan.
Ooh.
Is banana bread a breakfast item or dessert item?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. On vacation, it is absolutely a breakfast item.
Yeah.
No, off vacation, it's a dessert item.
That is a very good stipulation to place it on. Because when you're on vacation and like they have the breakfast plate, like you go to a hotel and let's
Sweetbreads.
say it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Comped breakfast, you know,
Yeah.
and like banana bread's
Continental is what he's saying. Yes,
Same thing.
Yeah, but all the same. Yeah, you guys are
like
both
banana
right.
bread is there. Like that's a breakfast thing.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Nana bread is that it's never bad.
No,
it's never bad. Like you can even have stale banana bread, and you're like, it's still pretty good.
You know, a lot of people like breakfast for dinner. Consider dinner for breakfast.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I do it all.
It's usually
the time.
what I eat for breakfast is
and
leftovers.
Look at me, the peak of male fitness.
Absolutely. All right. My sides hurt. Let's get out of this. All right.
Is it from all the ab workouts?
It must be. Look at these washboard abs.
Is the obliques in there?
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.